morning. How are you? Hope you well. Hope you've had a good week. We are here. We are talking about how to sell well on eBay. Last week we had a look at kind of the fundamentals of how to sell on eBay. What you had to do, how to register, the fact that you had to take photos, a description, and all the details that go into that. But this week we are going to have a chat with Tally about how to sell really well. What's the things to do to help you get noticed? So I'm going to bring her into the conversation. Hello to all of you that have joined us. Lovely to see you. We're just waiting for her to come in. Good morning.
Good morning, lovely. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good.
So I was just saying, last week we looked at kind of the fundamentals of how to sell on eBay, the fact that you had to find what you were selling, pick a category, pick a kind of subheading within that category to kind of narrow you down and find it searchable. Then the fact that you had to take good photos, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is now, if you've had a little think about that, now's the time to think about the most important. I was thinking about this from last week. Is the most important thing is your title. Now, if you're selling, say for example, a piece of furniture, some china, jewelry, or a piece of clothing,
Yeah.
if you've got a brand attached to it, wow, that has saved you a lot of time, because people will sometimes do a search engine, you know, if they love Zara, if they love Portuguese china, if they like a certain kind of oak wood, you know, so whatever it is, if you have a brand, that makes your life a whole lot easier.
Right.
So for example, so that's the most important. What do you put in your title? So say for example, it was a Hobbs dress, you'd pay, you know, brand new, or you'd put Hobbs sequin dress, size 10, or something to grab people's attention. If you have a vintage thing, rare, you know, vintage 1980s, China, vintage, you know, rare, you know, put it in the title. You want to grab people, because we said about title. So really the title is really, really important,
Right.
to grab, because people will search that. I want, you know, 1980s, 1970s, it will pop up, whatever it is.
Okay, so that's sort of focusing on your title that sort of helps you to be seen from the off. So that's kind of part of your keywords, I suppose.
Yeah.
What will be searchable?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, this is where eBay takes a little bit time, but the more you do it, the less time it takes, because you get to know the little tricks and the little nubbins, and you go, oh yeah, I know what to do there.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, say you have something, and like we said, it's a Hobbs skirt and it's from 1980s, you know, you put vintage 1980s Hobbs skirt, sort of, you know, maybe minus size 10, for example. That people will start to look at that, hopefully, you know. But for example, say you haven't got something that's a brand, this becomes a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
About what words you choose in your title. So you might have to put 19, say for example, it's the same kind of skirt, but the label is gone, and you would put 1980s floral vintage pleated, you know, immaculate condition. I mean, that's very detailed, but
yeah,
you know. And what's good to do, if you've got something that is a brand, whether it's a piece of furniture, jewelry, pottery, whatever it is, look on Google to see what that's going for,
right,
what people are selling it for, like we said, and then look on eBay. And what I tend to do is go somewhere in between. So you can do buy it now, we'll get there, or you can make an offer. So I say for example, I've got something on for £35. You could be up for offers, and you can change that offer, how much you'll take. So say for example 35, I might go, what are you willing to let go of it? You're willing to let go of it for 27 quid, then have your, you know, people can bid for 27. They can put offers for 27, because nothing will allow them to do under unless you've said they can.
Right. Okay, so we've got a really good title.
Yeah.
So perhaps we've been searched and we've been found, but we've been found with maybe 20 others.
Yeah.
We've now gone, okay, well, we know what the asking price is brand new. Is mine new, is it not? So pitch it from there.
Yeah.
Having a look on eBay to go, well, they're selling it for 35, so I'm happy to sell it for 30. So that kind of gets you noticed. What else do we need to do? Because it's no good going, sometimes you can think, oh, that cheaper for a reason? Like, is it not quite as good as the other one? Or so what makes it just not look cheaper? What makes it look like a really good value? What else do you need to do?
Well, that would be in your description, which we'll get to. Very good question. So hold that thought, Vicky.
Yeah.
We'll get there. So, sorry, the title is good. Then it's going to, once you put something on, you've worked out it's this, it will be your photographs. You get 12 photos to choose from.
Right.
Now, just because you've got 12, you don't have to use them, but use the best picture that shows off the item. There's no point putting your first photo because that's what people are going to see.
Yeah.
So, for example, I'm lucky enough to have a mannequin, so I put all my clothes on there. When you're taking the photos, make sure it's well lit, but not too lit that it distorts the color. Because sometimes if it's very bright in that room, the color might make it change, and it's not that color. So sometimes when it's a bit dull in the day, for example, I've got a lean-to kind of conservatory, and sometimes the light's too bright. But if I get to 2 o'clock, it's a little bit duller. It's the same color as what it is.
Good tip.
And I tend to have a background that is the same. So you don't have to do this, but if you're taking photos, it would, you know what it's like when you go window shopping, whether it's online or just down the high street. What makes you go, oh, I like that? If you've got something on a hanger, or you've got something on a mannequin, and behind it you've got a radiator full of knickers and socks. I mean,
Not the one. It's not the one.
Unless that's the look you're going for. You're selling a washing line,
They're remembering you for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly. But, really, in the old days, I used to have a painting, and I had my mannequin in front. So there was always the painting and there was always my mannequin. So all my photographs had a connection. So right. You knew I was the buyer. It was always, I wanted it neat, shadows, all the rest of it. If I do jewellery, I sometimes, obviously it's not as pierced, but if it's clip, I put it on, I model it.
So you're almost creating a brand for you in the fact that they go, oh, I bought this, sort of helps you a bit later on in the fact that, oh, I bought from her before. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
So, oh, I know that was good quality. I can trust her. I'll buy again from her.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I try to be, I take the photo and then you've got 11 other photos. So this is where, when you've got, is it new with defects? Is it new with a tag on? Is it, all of those things. And if, like, I sold a pair of Zara boots this week, long boots, never been worn, got the tag still on them, but there's a few markings on them. They're all white boots, so they were,
right.
were rated. But of course, I took photos of that because you want, you've got to be honest, because if you don't be honest, then you're going to have problems all around.
Yeah.
There's no point saying this is immaculate when there's holes. If you can fix it, if you can make it, if you can mend it, you can always say that in the description. But, you want it to be honest. So if there is pictures, if there's a marking of the make, of the label, take a photograph of that. If they'll ask you, for example, if it's a skirt, how long it is, what the fabric is. It will ask you details, what length something might be, how you might wash it, where's it made. I mean, it gets, but the more detail you put on helps everyone. And sometimes...
Does eBay ask you all of those? You don't actually have to think of all of that. They've done all that hard work for you. You just need to answer the questions.
Well, you have to tell them. You have to say, well, is it mid-length? Is it long? Is it, is it vintage? Is it reproduction? All those things, if it's jewellery, is it silver? What stones is it? Is it sapphire? Is it emeralds? You do have to give as much detail. And if you've got the label, or if you've got the back of the chair or the china, take a photograph of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might find these things online, go, this is how much it is to buy for real, but I want to, in the description, I want this to go to a new home, I'm doing a clear out, this is not me anymore. But the more information you can give is great. Then you've got to think about, once you've done your title, your photographs, you've done the details, then we start talking about price. So what are you willing to let it go for? So you can do it, buy it now, but then you'll be paid more. You'll have to, eBay will charge you more.
Right, okay.
Then you've got to think, do you want to make offers or no offers? You'll get that choice. I always go for offers. So I have it up for a certain amount, but and I can change the offer. eBay will set an offer. So say, for example, you have something for 80 quid. They might say you can get offers from maybe 65. I might then nudge that to 70.
Right.
If I'm selling it for 85. So at least I can let it go for another offer back. So say, for example, you say, Natalia, I want that, I'll give you 65 for it. And I'll go, well, it's on for 85. Give me 75. And they go, I'll give you 70. And you're like, give me 72.
I love it. Actual bartering and bargaining.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, I can't be asked to go, someone's offered me, do you know what, I want it out of the house, I want the space. It's been on eBay for a couple of weeks, I just want it gone, it's taking up too much room. So you've got choices to say nay, yay. Sometimes I say, thank you so much for your offer, but I do need this amount of money, otherwise I'm going to lose the money because this item is really special. And people get it. As long as you're polite. Then you've got post.
I'm just going to apologise because I think we had a bit of a connection issue. I don't know if we lost you, lost me, or both, or none. I don't know. I'm just going to apologise because we had a bit of a connection issue. But just to recap, so we've done a really good title. And if you've got anything that's sort of definitely worth saying, like if it's got a brand or anything attached to it, definitely pop that in the title. Then we've got a really detailed description, and that's, I guess, more so that people know exactly what they're getting. And they're not going to want to return it because you've just given them every piece of information they could possibly need. Then you've taken some really good photos, including really good lighting and kind of displaying whatever it is really nicely and giving, again, I guess, as much information visually as you possibly can.
Yeah, and you can wear it. I mean, I've got a mannequin, you know, not everyone's going to have one of those, you know.
Just hanging around.
Just hanging around. I bought it years ago to hang jewellery on it, really, and then I've got into eBay, so it's become really useful. You might be able to pick one up, or one of those plastic ones, you know, when it's just a plastic body, you know, and so you can do that. I mean, it does help. I mean, there is that thing about you could wear it, you could put it on a hanger. It's nice to give it shape. It helps you. I'm not saying you need to go out and buy a mannequin because these things cost money and you're trying to save money. I get it. But if you do have a massive wardrobe, you've changed, you know, you've changed your look, you've changed your shape, whatever it is, you know, what am I going to do with this? This could really help you. You just want to show it off as best you can. So sometimes I wear the hats, the clip-on earrings, the necklaces, whatever, if I know that might make it, I can't display it as well as I'd like on my mannequin or a cushion. I will put it on myself, and hopefully people will approve.
Great. No, that sounds great. And then you've gone, right, this is what I am willing to sell it for. This is my lowest bracket. I'd like to get this, but this is my lowest bracket. You then decide if you want to just put it on a outright sell price, which comes with a slightly higher percentage price to eBay.
Yeah, that's fine now,
Yeah, or you decide to take bids, but you put in your base rate, you put in your guide price, and it doesn't go any lower than that.
Yeah, I mean, for example, you can have no offers, put it up for $14.99. I want $14.99. I want it for, at least I'll get $14.99, for example. But if you're willing to, you know, I always put up offers. Sometimes they're ridiculous, you get back, but then you ask for it. So once that's all done, and what's really lovely, you know, someone make an offer, and you can sort of have that, you know, tennis back and forth about, you know, yes, no, yes, give me more, blah blah blah, and then you can sell it. The next thing, obviously, you need to think about is post. Now, we talked about weighing scales. It's really important. If you're going to do this, go to your local post office. You can send it via Royal Mail. You've got Packlink, and Packlink is the eBay post, if you like.
Right.
And on there, it will have Hermes, it will have DHL on there. It'll have DPD, I think, on there. So you can choose according to the size and weight. It is imperative that you get some sort of, you know, weighing scales, because it will bite you if you don't. And also measurements. You know, if you're a little inch out in the Royal Mail, I've gone, sorry, Natalia, that's not 410, it's now 610. Right. And you've packed it, you've labelled it, and you go, okay, I might as well pay it. But you've lost £2, you see. So, and they're very particular. You know, there's small parcels, big parcels, and there's the weighing and the measurements. So Hermes and Royal Mail are different.
Right. And they give you those measurements and weights and things, so and costs next to it before you even start, do they? So you know what to sort of incorporate into your price before you put it on.
Absolutely. Now, sometimes naughty things happen. For example, I've sent a Hermes thing off for $2.85. Hermes have upped their prices to $2.95, but they haven't changed that on eBay. So I'm completely down 10p. Now you've also got to remember, and this is the little details, eBay usually take their cuts. They're not, sometimes at the moment, they're not taking a cut unless you sell something. So you can put on as many things as you like. But also everyone uses PayPal for this. PayPal take a cut as well.
Wow. Yeah.
So everyone's taking their little bit of a cut. So you do need to, obviously the bigger the price, the more they take the cut.
Yeah.
So when you're putting up your post, there's a thing you can put. So when it says buyer's going to pay this, there's a little thing underneath. So you've got your, you know, if you're going to do roll mail, you've chosen and you've said, I'm going to go for 285. Underneath that on the app, on the phone, I can't show that to you because I'm talking on my phone, but underneath it says, it gives you a choice, go, buyer pays 285. Is there another fee? And you swipe across. Now, remember, you've got to pay for your envelope. So just to send it is to now 95. If an envelope's cost you 50p, again, you're paying bulk. You might want to lift that. So you do get a choice to lift that. It was very obvious in the olden days. And now it's kind of gone quiet. And I recently found this out, which I was so pleased about, because obviously PayPal are taking their cut. The post is not putting in anything about your tissue paper, the envelope you've sent it in. So you want to make sure that you're not, if PayPal are taking a cut, eBay are taking a cut, and you're not getting paid for postage, you're going to lose about £2 maybe on this thing, if not more, depending on the price. So it's really good to really check when you're choosing. You check, for example, you check Royal Mail, second class is £4.10. I know this back to front. But I've spent, maybe I've got bubble wrap in there, you know, a box.
Right.
I'll then put that to £5.
So here's a question then. So when you're going through all your bits that you're going through, and say you're selling a dress for £15, but just the dress is £15, do you put that in and then as you go down it goes postage and then that gets popped onto your price, or do you have to do it?
Yeah, I mean, some people, yes, you have to do it, because you can get caught again like I have, where it automatically does something for you, and unless you change it, you can be had. I sold some candelabras and I didn't know they were going to America, and apparently I'm paying for the post.
Right.
Because eBay changed it when it went back on and I didn't check. And once someone makes a bid, you can't change anything as well. That's an important thing.
That's important to remember.
So for example, so when you're looking at your post, say for example, I'm happy to get 15 quid for this dress, really happy. Look at my post. Hermes is the cheapest you're going to get. But by putting maybe 90p, a pound, or whatever, 70p to pay for your envelope, and you work it out what, you know, how much you need to, but then that will cover your costs.
Yeah. So I've gone, I'm happy to take £15 for this dress, but my post is probably going to cost me say £4.10, but I'm going to make sure that it's nicely set and covered and stuff. So let's say £5. Do I then put the dress on for £20?
No, you do that. No, you do that with your post.
Right, great.
Because if you put £20 on your eBay, then you've got offers, then you're going to go down. Right. And you might, you know, you want to make it attractive for people to, you know, that sometimes the lowest you go, you get more. It's obvious. You put things on for 99p, you put things on for a fiver and something's worth, you'll get more followers, you'll get more watchers. And as I always say, watchers mean nothing until you get a bid. You can have, I had 20 watchers the other day on a dress. Oh, that's going to go. It didn't go. I was like, oh, right. I don't understand. But yeah, so do that in your post. So you've chosen, say for example, you've chosen Royal Mail is £4.10. The buyer, check that the buyer is paying for that. The buyer won't mind it if it's coming Royal Mail, it's signed for. Now, I do think there's certain things to look, you know, if you do second class, you won't have insurance. But if you have signed for, you will. Hermes come with, on certain things, £25. If something goes missing, or something goes, there's a £25 compensation. Same with the Royal Mail. And it will say on eBay, when you're picking how much you'll get compensation, God forbid this goes missing or it's broken or whatever it is. But if you do things, I do sort of suggest that it's good to have something that is registered, something that there's a tracking number. Because if something goes missing, and also when you put your envelope out there with your printed tracking from Hermes, or you write the address like for Royal Mail, do put your address on the other side. So if anything goes missing, it will always come back to you.
Right.
If there's a problem. Otherwise, it will just be in the ether and it'll be lost, and there's no way of gauging it. But yeah, you can change the money. So it will say, oh look, buy will pay £2.85, right? And then I go in there and I go, actually, no, they won't. They'll pay £3.50 because that pays my envelopes, and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise we're going to be losing money gradually.
Yeah, and that gets added on the advert. I guess that gets added on postage and packaging, £3.85 or whatever it is.
Absolutely, and then also that opens up to international. So what usually happens if someone you have an eBay buyer in Italy or Germany, you usually send it to eBay's main office in Staffordshire. So they'll pay for the post for you to send it to there because it's all in England, and then they'll pay eBay to get it from Staffordshire to Italy to Germany to France.
So they pay the difference on that as well.
Or to America. Currently, at the moment, American Post is really high.
Okay.
Just to be aware of that, because I think they're having a lot of problems with their mail service and the way things are going. So that's a little bit costly. And if you're buying, you'll know if it's coming from America, it's really expensive.
Right, okay.
So not to say, no, there's not lovely things in America. Of course there is. But just to be aware, it's more expensive to send over there.
Yeah, amazing. So I think great tips there, really good. So making sure you've got everything sort of searchable, really good things in your title, obviously having a really good description, good photos, pitching the amount at a good spot, obviously perhaps just undercut everyone else if you can do, be open to offers, and you're more likely to sell than you are at a main price. And then making sure you are covered in your postage, ticking the buyer's cover, so you don't get stung with a cost later on.
Exactly. And then also there's the question of like, will you accept returns? Now, I don't.
Right.
But unless it's faulty. So for example, I think I told you before, I sold a shirt. I said it was polyester. The lady said it wasn't polyester. And when it was stated, I took it straight to eBay. And you know, and eBay covered me, and it was fine. They took my side. So
yeah,
you know, if you've got a problem, we'll talk about that another time. But you know, it's so easy. And once you put your first thing on, you go, oh, okay. And then before you know it, it's like anything. It becomes so easy.
Yeah.
It does. You know, the only thing that takes time, of course, taking the photographs. And I would say it takes longer than you think when you first get going. But expect that. Don't think, well, I've got, if I've got, for example, 10 things to put on eBay today, that is going to take me the whole day.
Yeah.
Because that's the level I want to do it, because I want good photos, because I want well descriptions. And this is another tip, I must say. If before I've even taken photographs, I've worked out on my little pad, I have a little pad that's just dedicated to eBay. I list them. So I put, number one, I'm putting 10 things on today as a dress. It's a Hobbs dress, say for example, could be any dress, but say it's a Hobbs dress. I'll write down what the fabric is, what size it is, what length it is, what the waist is, all of those things. So when you take the photos, you can just have a morning. That's kind of doing your homework. So when you take your photos, you've done your photos. So when you sit there in the evening, watching telly or whatever you're doing, you can just be watching that and just putting on. Do you see what I mean? So you've done your research. You don't have to go, oh, I'm just doing this one dress and I'll do that. And then I'll take the photos and I'll put it on. No. Write down everything on a little book. And then you take your photos in order or whatever. You go, right, I've done those photos. And then on your phone and on your list of your book, you do it together and you put them on. So that means you could be on a train and then you can put them on. You're sitting there on your train. Yeah,
it's called batching, that. And
What's it called?
It's called batching.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bit of a work ethic thing when it comes to anything. If you've got, because it takes so much energy to get yourself set up to do that one thing, don't use your energy to keep setting up each time and going back. Set up, do it all, and then move on to the next section. And it's called batching. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Oh, I've been doing it for years.
Who knew?
Who knew? So that's what I always do. I write down everything I want to sell today. I put an order 1 to 10. I write down the brand, what I know about it. I go through the fabric. I look at the china. I look at what, put it all down. And then I spend the morning just taking photo after photo of everything. So it's all set up. You don't keep back. And then that's it. It's done. And then you can sit there whenever after lunch. I'll put 2 on now.
Yeah,
I'll put 3
on a roll.
And you've got your my little black book it is, with all my listings in it. And that's my eBay book. You put it in your diary, you'll lose things, you know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that's it.
That's it. Loads of tips and tricks. Thank you very much. We are going to have a look at how to deal with maybe any issues you think may arise that have arisen for you, perhaps, and basically how to deal with that. So we kind of take the fear out of dealing with eBay. I think be a good one to do next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with anything, isn't there, there is pros and cons. And my experience of doing this for quite a few years is there's been more pros than cons. But of course, there are things that come up here and then, and it's good to just know your stuff and know, you know, from get-go, you know where you stand. And I think that's really important. Knowledge is power, and especially, you know, on eBay, on PayPal, on all these different elements that, you know, because it's not just one thing. You're the beginning of the element. Then it goes to eBay. Then it goes to Hermes or Royal Mount. Then it's paid for PayPal. All of these things. It's good to know where you stand, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you ever so much, my lovely.
You're welcome.
It's been very, very informative. Thank you. And we will next week have a look at, just having a bit of knowledge of things and how to deal with them, and customer service and things like that. I think would be a good one to look at.
Yeah, definitely, Vicky. And it's just making sure that we're all on the same board and no one feels they're being taken advantage of, or they don't know what to do, really.
Yeah, and like you said, it's definitely better to know all these things beforehand and know how to deal with them than try and deal with them sort of on the spot, which is just not fun.
Yeah, because this is meant to be a pleasure. This is meant to be an easy thing. It's not meant to give you aggro. You know, life can be quite stressful, as we know. So this is a nice thing. So if you know all those things, go, okay, no big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will tackle those next week. Thank you ever so much for all you that have been watching and stayed with us. I hope you found it interesting and helpful as well. And let us know if you do any eBay selling, any comments, questions or anything, please chuck them in the comments. We will be back next week, Saturday, 10:30, having a look at, dealing with any pitfalls perhaps, or just making yourself prepared and ready before we tackle eBay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, my lovely. We will see you next week and hopefully see you all there.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vicky. Bye, lovely. Bye.